Today, we're going to talk about some of the biggest Palantir deals in recent years. We're talking about numbers which are so big that just a few years ago, they were hard to imagine, like a potential $10 billion deal agreement with the US Army alone. We're going to break down Palantir's contracts with the Army, the Navy, the Space Force, and even the UK, and see how these deals are making Palantir an essential partner for America and its allies. We're also going to hear from Palantir's UK leader, Louis Mosley, about their newest deal with the UK's Ministry of Defence. Let's get into it. We're going straight into the heart of the numbers, the strategy, and the massive government contracts that define Palantir. And we're going to start with a number that really sets the stage for everything. $10 billion. That's a wild number, right? That's the potential value of the single agreement Palantir has with the US Army. It's a figure that is actually quite hard for Palantir shareholders to wrap their head around when you think about where the company was when a lot of us started following the company a few years ago. It's a signal of a massive shift in how military is buying and using software. That $10 billion, it doesn't come from a single giant project. Instead, it's what's called an enterprise agreement, or EA. And you can think of it as a huge consolidation. It takes about 75 different older contracts and rolls them up into one efficient package. The whole idea is to get new tech out faster and get better deals for the entire Department of Defense. From the Army's point of view, this isn't just about saving a few bucks. Their CIO, Leo Garcia, basically says it's the Army's new game plan. It's about boosting their buying power so they can get the best AI and data tools into the hands of soldiers, which at the end of the day just makes them more efficient. And that does nicely bring us to a core idea here. Palantir is trying to move beyond just being another contractor. They're positioning themselves to be the essential software layer, kind of like the central operating system for the entire US Army. Let's break down what that actually looks like. When you look at the programs under this umbrella, you really get a sense of the scale. You've got Project Maven for AI targeting Army Vantage, for managing all their personal data, $250 million just for research and development, and Titan for next-gen ground stations. So how do they all fit together? It's a whole ecosystem that touches nearly every part of what the Army does. Let's take a look at Titan. Well, what is Titan? Think of it as the central nervous system of the battlefield. It's designed to suck in just overwhelming amounts of data from everywhere, be it satellite, drones, you name it, and then fuse it all together to give soldiers a really clear, really fast targeting picture. Quick plug, imagine a potential client is searching online, and instead of another ad, they find your YouTube video. In that moment, you're the trusted expert. That's how we've helped businesses scale to 6-figure months launching YouTube channels for their business. If you run a business, book a call with me below and I'll show you how this could work for you. Back to the video. The gentleman in charge of this, Colonel Chris Anderson, calls it game-changing. He says it gives them a decisive edge because it completely rewrites the rules of how intelligence gets shared on the battlefield. The other pillar here, Project Maven, well, if Titan is the nervous system, then you can think of Maven as the AI-powered brain that does the heavy lifting. Maven's job is to use artificial intelligence to speed up everything, to watch hours and hours of surveillance footage and automatically find and track things that matter. And this isn't just a small experimental program. There are already more than 20,000 active Maven users across the military. That number has more than doubled since the beginning of the year, which I think is pretty insane growth. And it shows you just how hungry the military is for this kind of tech. So the Army is obviously a huge piece of the puzzle, but Palantir's strategy doesn't stop there. The playbook seems to be take that simple, indispensable role and expand it across every single branch of the armed forces and even to key allies. I mean, just have a look at these numbers. The scale of this expansion is incredible. We're talking about $1 billion with the UK's Ministry of Defence, another deal just shy of $1 billion with the US Navy, and a couple of $100 million with the Space Force. This is a serious penetration across the board for Palantir. The Navy deal, for example, it follows the same pattern. It's a long 10-year contract to build a unified data platform. The big goal here is to let people across the organization collaborate in real time for command and control. This single deal increases Palantir's entire defense footprint in the UK by a 10x which is a massive move that's going to weave Palantir's platform deep into the British military and its allies. Let's take a look at what Palantir's UK leader, Louis Mosley, said about this new deal.
It's the first billion-dollar deal that Palantir has done outside the US, so it's a big, significant milestone. And alongside that deal, we also announced a big investment into the UK, $2 billion over the next 5 years, the creation of 350 new jobs, and our European HQ for defense will be in London. The power of the software is such, and it's meeting its moment. The significance of this deal is it's we are the operating system for the modern battlefield. And we've seen the US make that move, and the significance of the news today is the US's closest ally, the UK, making the same move.
How are you thinking about the work that you'll actually do? How concrete is it? How much can you share about what's actually in scope for this contract?
I can share bits of it. Obviously, a lot of it is sensitive operational details, but a key part of it will be what the UK is calling the digital targeting web. We Palantir will be a component of that. It'll involve many, many other companies and players. And you could think of that a bit like what the Maven smart system does for the US. So it's really your targeting infrastructure, how you connect up all your sensors, your satellites, your drones, all of your various data feeds with your effectors, the stuff that you're going to use to shoot airplanes, tanks, missiles. And it's that data infrastructure that sits in between that. It's the harness in which you then run all of the sophisticated AI and computer vision algorithms and so forth. And a lot of it is inspired and, frankly, lessons learned from the war in Ukraine, where the same technology, our platforms have been, as you'll know, deployed by the Ukrainians day in, day out now for nearly 3 years. And those lessons are being learned. And, we're seeing the future of warfare play out in real time. And, the significance of this is the UK government making a multi-million pound investment.
If we look at the newest domain space, it's the exact same story. This quote from Lieutenant Colonel David Williams really nails it. He says it's all about one thing, taking huge, messy piles of data from all over the place and making sense of it fast to speed up decisions. So we've seen how deep Palantir is going with defense, but to really get the full picture, you have to take a look at how they're proving the same tech can work on the civilian side of government too. The State Department's Action Project is a perfect example. It shows how these same principles of using data can be used to protect the health of US diplomats around the world. It's about tracking health problems, predicting risks, managing things like medical evaluations, and just having a single unified system to respond to emergencies. And nearly $100 million over 5 years, this is no small potatoes. It's a really significant and strategic foothold into the civilian government world, proving that the same platform can pivot from tracking military targets to tracking global health threats. So when you put all these pieces together, the deep integration with the army, the expansion across all other branches, the jump to civilian use, it starts to raise a much bigger question. Is Palantir basically inventing a whole new type of defense contractor? I mean, think about it. The traditional defense primes were built on hardware. They built the tanks, the ships, the planes. Their whole model was about long development cycles and physical manufacturing. Palantir is flipping that script. They're pioneering a software prime model where the foundation isn't steel, it's data and AI delivered with constant software updates. And you know what? Palantir is totally aware of what they're doing. This quote from the SVP for Defense, Brian Chung, says it all. He's basically saying, yeah, we might be the first to do this, but we're paving the way for a whole new category of company to lead major programs at the Pentagon. So let's just boil it all down. What have we seen here? It's really a 4-part strategy in action. First, get deeply integrated and become the go-to operating system for the army. Second, expand that model out to every other military branch and its key allies. Third, prove that your platform is versatile enough for critical civilian jobs. And finally, use that momentum to pioneer a completely new software-first model for the entire defense industry. Which leaves us with one last big thought. We know that software, data, and AI are now the absolute center of modern warfare. So when you see a company integrating itself deeply into the system, you have to ask the question, is Palantir building an entirely new kind of defense monopoly, one that's not built on skill, but built on software? If you found this video of any value, or you learned even a tiny little thing in this video, why not consider hitting subscribe? Cheers.